My makeup's still terrible. If you want to see me complain about it, check out the very beginning of my Saw 2 review. Otherwise, I'm in Salad and I saw Saw 3. It is directed by Darren Lynn Bozeman, written by Leigh Whannell, and if you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. We're back with Saw. It's again. It has happened again. Why? I guess Saw 2 is such a smashing hit with all its plot holes, but it's a movie in which they attempt to close some of those plot holes, except for the one which said, hey, why didn't you arrest this serial killer when he was in your possession? Because he's not arrested. We're following a detective. His son is dead because of a crash, but more specifically, negligence amongst other people that led to his son's death. And so he's still hurt about that. Look, cry. I cry every time I hear the story. And he's like, oh wow, this is crazy. He's doing it again. Jigsaw's doing stuff again. Oh wow, the opening scene was a man in the same Jigsaw room as the first one. But it was weird that he could break his foot instead of having to saw it off. And also there's another person who's pretending to be Jigsaw, but gives not enough ample time in order for them to get out of the trap, causing them to die. And the police are like, yeah, this is a Jigsaw clone. He's trying to be Jigsaw because he's cool or something. And I'm like, it's obviously the accomplices because they're doing a terrible job of being Jigsaw. Now that Jigsaw is not in custody. You know what Jigsaw is? He's in a abandoned factory place with the minimal medical equipment, but there's this, the Amanda chick, she has grown longer hair, and she kidnaps this nurse and puts this neck thing on a nurse that if he flatlines, then she dies. And it's so sad because she's being held against her will, and John's like, yo, you gotta keep me alive. And this freaking woman, I hate her so much. She's so unreasonable. She's given this medical professional nurse, hey, here, use this limited equipment, use this hammer and scalpel for a fine, detailed job, right? It's impossible to do that. And wow, his brain's swelling. Well, we gotta go to the hospital for that. She's like, no, we're not going to the hospital at all. I'm like, what is your issue? Clearly the police are not looking for you, or else they would have had you in custody because you were in custody last time and didn't get arrested, so they clearly don't care. Now, your brain is swelling, and she has to cut this man's skull, and it's pretty visceral seeing it happen. Wow, she has a freaking saw. And I'm afraid that she's gonna hit the brain. And there's this thin membrane over the brain, I guess, and exposes the brain. And he's like, ah, yes, I'm feeling better. And then it goes, bleh, it goes plummet in heartbeat, and she's trying to figure out what's wrong. This freaking woman is yelling at her. I'm like, bro, you put her in this freaking situation. Why did you have to kidnap this woman? Why did you just not go to the hospital? And it doesn't really explain that. I assume it's because they're afraid that they're going to get caught. But bro, if you were going to get caught, you would have been arrested last movie. So you're fine, you're fine. And also there is this detective that I just mentioned earlier. Yeah, he's now being led through the games. What's interesting about that is he himself isn't being hurt, but the people that are partially responsible are. He's going through, there's a chick in a freezer, she was a bystander. And I'm like, wait, why do you know who was the killer if she was the only bystander? And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking this throughout the entire movie. How does he freaking know? This is an obvious major plot hole. But it turns out he was the one who killed his son. John Kramer himself killed his freaking son and saw the witnesses and were like, you know what? Even though I was the one who murdered your son, those other people deserve to get punished because they stood around and watched and didn't say anything. So they're just as bad. I'm like, no, you freaking insane idiot. No, you're the bad guy. They don't have a duty to report. Like, they don't have to. But they should. but you're the guy who actually did the dirty deed, which was did the murdering, dude. Come on. You think you're freaking on your high horse, precious high horse? I'm glad that you're dying on a not medically good place. No good medical equipment. That's because this freaking chick hates you and wants you to die. And even though she's like, I'm sworn to protect you and keep you alive, she would have taken you to the hospital. Why? Because you're spending all your money on drugs instead of freaking health insurance. And I'm not saying this to disparage her. I'm saying that's what she's literally doing, it seems like, based on John Kramer's words himself. Like, he calls her a junkie, and it's shown her flashes of her just going, bleh. I'm like, okay, cool, I guess, whatever. If it weren't so good, people wouldn't do it. Like, if it didn't feel so good, people wouldn't do it. So I'm not going to disparage anyone. I'm just saying, like, bro, that's where all your money's going, and you didn't think ahead enough to be like, oh, maybe I should set some money aside just in case I have to play in this insane man's games and take care of him, or else he's gonna kill me. I guess saying that out loud, no one would be able to predict that, so I'm not disparaging her. I'm just saying, freaking, oh my god, I hate John so much because he has these insane leaps of logic that I'm supposed to just believe and accept as truth, and then he decides that he is the ultimate arbiter of what's good and bad. This man he's going through, woo, it's time to go through, woo, it's time to go through, woo, and it turns out that the chick that was there, that chick was his wife, and then he's like, bro, you got my wife, and he's like, ha ha ha, I'm gonna die now. He kind of gets to the dying part, but it takes so long after he announces that he's dead. And then when he actually shoots him, then the wife head explodes, because that was part of the condition, I guess. How do you freaking condition that? Oh, your heart stops beating, it means, oh, I send a signal to this thing to turn on, and then, I guess that would be pretty simple coding, actually. But still, that seems difficult. This movie is slightly better than the last one. It's too much. I guess it's cool that the guy who went through the games didn't get injured because of surrounding avenging his son's killer, but once he got to his son's killer, then it didn't feel any better. And so what's the lesson there? You appreciate life. That's simple, I guess. But bro, you're not addressing the complex underneath it. Oh wow, you have to kill the killer in order to feel better, and when you do it, you won't feel better. So what is the lesson? Move on from your dead child, accept that he's dead. I guess that's a generally okay lesson, but he feels like the guy didn't get enough jail time. What is enough jail time? The movie does say what's enough jail time, but like normal sentencing would probably be enough jail time for this guy. I'm just saying. Like, that's the answer. A normal amount. What someone might feel is worth. Oh, that kid died when he was 9. Give him 9 years. Give him 20 years. Whatever. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just saying there is an answer to that. And the fact that John Kramer was like, there is not an answer, and I have to give these criminals on a silver platter to this man is so freaking insane. What's the appeal of Saw? What do you like Saw? Let me know in the comments below. I think it's just torture porn. That's what I call Saw in anything like it. That's the genre it's in. It's slightly better than the last one, and I think it's cool that John was to be revealed to be the terrible person once again. I gotta give this a 4 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another on the platform who likes that $20 Dino. It's at patreon.com/ASEPresents for one movie review for 1 month. Go to this link tree to support the daily grindiness of all them daily movies, so go here. And until next time, in salad sauce, seal it to my sour croutons and bacon bits. And I really hope that eventually, oh my goodness, eventually, just like John Kramer does in this movie, the Saw franchise dies. Well, I'm gonna go bleach my eyes now. Goodbye.